welcome back to the Faithful Ewe Knitting Podcast. My name's Hazel. This is a knitting, weaving and spinning and hand dyeing podcast from Wales in the United Kingdom. And this is my mid-week vlog. Gosh, I'm getting so tongue-tied this morning. This is my mid-week vlog and it goes out on a Wednesday. I thought that it would break the week up a bit during the winter for everybody and for me as well, because it gets dark early here and I just thought it would give me a bit of an incentive to get on and get out in the cold and get on with the things that I've got to do. So today, in today's episode, I thought what we'd do was, it's cold out there, it's wet and it's gloomy and it's dark, and I'm sitting in the window in the living room at my sewing machine at the moment. I've got some repairs to do. I'm going to repair my coat that I showed you a couple of podcasts ago. I've got my new zip to repair the zip on my coat, and I'm going to repair a couple of pairs of leggings as well, so that they will last me a little bit longer. And I thought I'd do a few jobs in the house. So I've got a bookcase that I want to move where I have all my handspun yarns, and I keep all my yarns in there to keep them out of the way of the moths, because in this house we do have a lot of those white powdery moths, and I have had problems with them in the past getting into my wool items. So what I do is I keep the yarn in the glass and I lock the door so no moths can get in there. So I want to move that and put that upstairs. It's in the porch at the moment, and the porch is a very cold space and it's a little bit damp, and I don't want my yarns getting damp. So what I thought I'd do was I'd take you into the porch and we'll have a look at the yarns together before I move them. As I take them out, I thought we could just go through with them, and I could tell you a little bit about them, because I've got art yarns in there, I've got different breeds in there, I've got some shills a day yarn in there, I've got some natural dyed yarns in there, I've got some commercial yarn in there as well that I've bought in the fabric shop where I used to live. So I've got a variety of different yarns in that bookcase. So it's one of those old 1930s, 40s china cabinets where they used to keep all their cups and saucers and tea sets on display. But it's a great little cupboard because I can see all the colours there and I can see exactly what I've got in there. And it looks really pretty as well with all the different colours and the different types of yarns. So that's what I thought I'd do today. And next week what we're going to do is we're going to have a look through my bookcase, and I'm going to show you a few of the different types of books that I've got in there, because I was looking through there this morning and I've got so many books, and I've got so many books that I haven't read. So what I thought that I would do through November and into December is, well, actually I think I'll do it for Vlogmas. And what I'll do is I'll review a book every day through Vlogmas, and that will give us something to think about, and maybe you might see something that you like as a Christmas gift. So what I'll do is I'll start that at the end of November, and then we'll take that through Vlogmas as well. And then if there's anything there that you think, oh, I like that for Christmas, then you can put your Amazon order in and you'll get it before Christmas. So yeah, that's what I think we'll do at the end of the month. So I've got my bookcase open, so I'll have a look and I'll see what books I want to review, because I've got some decorative mending books, which is stitching books. I've got some embroidery, I've got some sock books, I've got some Fair Isle books, I've got some natural dye books, I've got some Alice Starmore books, and they are beautiful, absolutely beautiful. How on earth they can come up with the designs that they have is beyond me, and how on earth you can have the patience to knit them as well is beyond me. So yeah, I'll just get one of them and show you now, because it's beautiful. If I can get it out of my bookcase without damaging it. Oh gosh. It was well stuck. This is one of them, and it's called Glan Marie, and I believe it took years to write it, and it's by Alice Starmore and her daughter, and it's a hardback book, and I think it's about £35. But look at that. I mean, that is just gorgeous. I would love to knit that. I mean, they're a piece of art. I can't remember what that one's called, but I just love that jacket. I think the jacket is beautiful. So all the photographs were taken up in Scotland, I think. Let me see if I can find what that's called. Lapwing. I mean, look at the detail in that. Whether you can see. But I'd love to be able to knit that, but that isn't actually the pattern. That's the costume that they designed. But oh gosh, I would love to wear that with a walk-in skirt. One of those lovely walk-in skirts that everybody was making a couple of years ago. I bought the pattern for that from America. Let me just move that sewing machine out of the way. I bought the pattern for that from America, but I mean, just look at that. It's beautiful. So yeah, there's a couple of things in there that I would love to have made. I did write to them. I mean, look at that. That's an eagle. Whether you can see with the light shining on it. So I'll try and show, I'll see if I can pull out what actually is in here. This is the lapwing. Now that's completely different to what was in the costume, but it's still beautiful. I think Andrea from Fruity Knitting has knitted that. I'm sure I've seen one of her podcasts, but do check her out. She does some beautiful work on YouTube. But that one's called Lapwing. And then there is this one which is called Raven. I mean, just look at that. The stunning photographs. I mean, the book, I got the book when it was on pre-order, so it wasn't as expensive as it is now. But there's some gorgeous, gorgeous patterns in here. I mean, look at that one. That one's beautiful. So I have seen them on eBay for sale, these books, and they are about £35. And if you like a book just to sit and look at, rather than actually knit it, then it's definitely worth it. I want to make this. I really want to make this, and I've got some yarn in mind. That one there. It's the eagle shawl. There was a jumper, and I've just shown you. Well, this is the shawl, and it's in two different sizes. You can make it in a small, or you can make it in a large. It's called the eagle wrap. And even just the photographs are stunning. But there's the smaller version, that one there, and then there's the larger version. So I'd love to make them both, the small and the large. So yeah, it's definitely worth investing in this book, because there's so many things you could make. In fact, you could make everything in this book. It's so well put together. The patterns are so beautiful. I just want to make it all. I mean, I love that. Look at that. So yeah, I highly recommend this book, Alice and Jade Starmore. It's called Glam Marie, and yeah, it's beautiful. I want to make that as well, called Otter. So yeah, Alice and Jade Starmore. I won't show you any more because I don't want to breach any copyrights or anything, but I highly recommend it. It's a beautiful book. I have looked through it a couple of times, and I just sit there and go, ooh, I'd love to make that. But there's the front cover again, if you do want to buy it. It is a hardback book, this one. I don't know if it still is a hardback book that's available. The costumes will take you forever to go through, because you'll be thinking, ooh, how can I make that into a jumper? But yeah, they're just beautiful. But as I say, I would have loved to have knitted that lapwing one. I'm sure that I could do, when I wrote to them and asked them, they said, oh, you can do a combination of different things out of the book to make up all the different costumes. So maybe that's something that I could do over time. But it's one of those things, isn't it, that just takes time. So yeah, I just thought I'd show you that. It's a gorgeous book. It's definitely worth the investment. And yeah, we'll carry on doing that as a series through November and December, and I'll just show you what books I've got in my collection. And then, as I say, if there's something then you want to order for Christmas, you can always give your partner or your husband a nudge and say, oi, get me this for Christmas. So, because I know when kids are asking their mums and their dads, what would you like for Christmas, mum? I'm like that with my mum and dad. I'm like, what would you like for Christmas, mum and dad? And then they give me an Amazon wish list, and I go through that and I just order what I want off there. So that's a good way of getting books. If you don't want to have to buy them yourself, ask your kids to buy them for you, and give them a list of what you want. So let's go into the porch and go and have a look in the yarn cupboard, and I'll show you some of the yarns that I've got. So when we come back in a sec, we'll be in the porch. Right, so we're in the porch now, and this is my yarn cupboard. This is where I keep my hand spun yarns and any wool yarns that I haven't got space for in my other storage areas, because I don't want to have moths get into my yarn, and it would be a shame to have it all messed up. So I want to clear this space because we need to repair the skirting board and the wall is a bit damp. So I want to do this space up. I've got some wallpaper I want to put up in here to warm the room up a bit, to warm the space up a bit and repair that piece of skirting board, but the cupboard's in the way. So I also don't want my yarns getting damp if there's damp on the wall that this cupboard is stored on. So I'm going to move it somewhere else in the house upstairs. So what I thought it would be a good opportunity to show you some of my hand spun yarns that I've done over the years, because I don't tend to use them. As you can see, it's just one of those nice display cabinets that people used to keep their china in. So let's open the door. Got myself a bin bag because I'm moving it now. So I thought, while I'm in the process of emptying it, I thought I'd show you guys. So yeah, what should we start with? Should we do the natural hand spun, or shall we do the art yarns or the colours? I'll tell you what, let's start on this shelf. On this shelf we've got a mix, because we've got some hand spun yarns. Yeah, we've got a mix of hand spun and natural dyes and commercial yarns, and this one is my hand spun, and this one is for Jacob sheep, and it's the yarn I've been using for my woven project, which I still haven't finished. So I've got a few of those. I've got one, that's not it, two, I think I've got three of this one. So yeah, this is Jacob sheep. This has been spun on my bliss wheel, and I love the spin on that. It's got a lovely spin to it. So yeah, we've got Jacob sheep. This is a fibre hut spin that I did, and that's Masham. It came in a box with all different natural colours. I bought it as one of their random lucky dip boxes that they do. I think they come in a £15, a £20 and a £25 or a £30 I think, and I got the 15. I got two. I got one with colours and one with natural. So that's 50 grams of Masham. And then I've got quite a bit of Shetland, because I enjoy spinning Shetland. I spin that quite a lot because I can get that locally. Where are we? Where are we? Shetland. Now Shetland is what I use for my Koinig sweater, my Kate Davis sweater. That was hand spun, and this is what's left from that. So yeah, that's that. This one is, I think that's alpaca, which is a nice grey colour. More Shetland. I think that was off a mixed Shetland. Oh, I like these. These ones are alpaca. Now this is what I called my eyelash yarn, because it looks like alpaca eyelashes And I love this. It's really nice. I'm putting some of that, going to put some of that in my shop. So I've got that. That's another one. I mean, just look at the halo on it. It's beautiful. Just look at that. That's that. This one's alpaca. This is local alpaca. This is just rustic spun. It's from a place about 10 miles away. We've got some really bulky alpaca, which is going to go for sale in my shop as well. I'm doing some weaving amounts, so you can use it in a weaving project. This one is, oh, I like this one as well. This is Manx. Now this is going to be a jumper at some point when I find the right pattern, because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's alpaca. That's not. See, this is the problem. I come out here and then I never know what I've got. That's not it. Right, that's all the Manx. Manx Lofton. So there's enough there for a jumper, because I've got an 80 gram, a 78 gram, I'm not sure gram, and 270s. So I've got at least 300 grams of that. So that should be plenty for something. Oh, this is some more Jacob, which I spun to go in my weaving kits, my frame loom kits. So yeah, that's what you get in that. This one here was, now this is gorgeous. Look at the curls in that. This one is Black-nosed Vallier, the Swedish sheep that looks like Ewoks with the big black face and the big bushy coat. So I've got 1, 2 of those. So I have no idea what I'm going to do with that. I had in mind to dye it. And then I have got some, that's more Shetland. I knew I had more of that Shetland, that dark coloured Shetland. And then we've got the corners here. Oh, this was some Gotland that I spun. Let's see if we can put it tidy so you can see it. Really bulky spun Gotland. And that is in my frame loom kits as well. I'll put some of that in. This is some coil spun Suffolk that I did, which is really nice. So that is a dyeing project. I wanted to dye the coils and that. I wanted to do it with a paintbrush and dab it on and see if I could get a nice effect on that. So I've got 2 of them, so I think I'll keep them out and put them in my workshop. I've also got, that's Shetland. I've also got some Herdwick, which is rough as anything, but I'm sure it's useful for something, maybe a weaving project. But it must have come off a really old sheep, because it's coarse as anything. So yeah, that's a Herdwick. And then that's more Shetland, and so is that. Another Jacob, another Shetland, another nice alpaca, which I might put in my shop. Let you have some. And then this one is a Hebridean fleece. I got a whole fleece, and I'm thinking, it's not that, yeah, all this here. I'm wondering whether to do the nightingale sweater in it, this one, because look at the browns in that, the brown hues. I think that would be really nice. Now I've got a whole fleece spun there. Oh, there's another one here. So that was virtually most of that bottom shelf was Hebridean fleece. So yeah, that's that. Happy lady. So yeah, I'm thinking of doing my nightingale that I shared with you in my podcast on Saturday. So we'll have to see how much we've got of that, but it needs washing. It hasn't been washed yet. Actually, it has been washed. It's just got loads of lanolin left in it. But I think that'd be really nice. And this one was off a little French sheep, off my neighbour. That's another Hebridean. This one was off my neighbour, off a little French sheep. I don't know what it was called. But it's a beautiful brown colour. So I might knit a hat or just put that in a shawl. That'd be nice in a shawl. So that's the natural shelf done. There's just a few odd bits. There's some Welsh. More Shetland. More Shetland, which has been terribly spun. I don't know what on earth I was thinking. Completely spun it wrong, over twisted and everything. So I don't know what I'm going to use that for. Oh, I like this alpaca as well. This is the alpaca I used for making the hat that I made in a podcast a couple of podcasts ago. That beret hat I made with my handspun yarn. So that's that. That's one of the first hand spuns I ever did on a drop spindle, that one. And that was Shetland Humbug. Silk and Shetland, that one. Silk in it, it's lovely. Gosh, I filled a bag just from one shelf. I'm going to have to go and get myself another bag. Next shelf, this is commercial. Oh, there's some Gotland there. Nice bit of Gotland. So this is a Shills a Day yarn, which is to go on my single button cable cardigan to do the yoke. But at the moment I can't find the pattern, so I haven't bothered balling that up. But that's Shetland, 118 grams. Bought that in Shills a Day in the Isle of Skye. Still got the old label on it from about 10 years ago. Maybe longer. I think it may even have been 15 years ago I bought that. So yeah, Shills a Day in the Isle of Skye, highly recommend their yarns. Next we're looking at my commercial yarns. So these are ones that I've bought in Wonderwool. They were 50p balls. I've got loads of these. But they're really good for colour work if you go to Wonderwool. I buy loads of them when I go. I haven't been for a few years now. Partly because of lockdowns and partly because I've got no one to go with. So it's not much fun on your own. Oh, I need that one. I need that colour for another project. So these are my 50p balls from Wonderwool. So that's them. Nice array of colours. 100% wool. I think they're Shetland. But yeah, lovely colours. I like this purple. I'd like to use that in something. I've used this colour. And I've used that colour. And I've used that colour. So I'd like to use that one next. So these are more Shills a Day. As you can see, I'm a big fan. Or I was when I used to go to Skye, but we haven't been for 5 years now. So I've got, this is what I'm knitting my garden gate sweater out of. This one. And I've got 2, 4, 6... I've got 7 left of that. Hopefully I've got enough for my jumper and something else. So yeah, I've got 7 left of that. It's this one. It's Highland Thistle, if you can get hold of it. And I'm not sure what it was made from. The baby camel, Angora and merino lamb's wool is 40% Angora. So I'm going to have to be careful how I wash that. There is another one that's similar to that, but it's not the same. And it's this one. Can't see for the glare of the camera. But it's called Highland Inspirations Autumn Moors. Naturally dyed with logwood. And this one is 10% cashmere, 10% camel, 40% Angora and 40% lamb's wool. And it says the late afternoon catching the coastal moors in full seasonal bloom suggests the name of the colour tone. I highly recommend them. I love Shills Adair. I've not been since Kirsty took over, but yeah, that was the highlight of my trip. So here's another one. This one is Foxglove. This is another Shills Adair. This is my Shills Adair shelf. This one's lac. Naturally dyed with lac and logwood. This one. And it says springing up everywhere from estate walled gardens to highland roads, verges, the foxglove with its speckled throat suggests the name of the shade. And this is pure merino wool, this one. And then we've got another one, also done with lac, and this is hawthorn. And this one is baby alpaca, camel, angora, lamb's wool again. The label's coming off that one. This is the rowan berry, Shills Adair again. Doesn't say what it's been dyed with, this one. But again, alpaca, camel and the like. That one I'm not sure, I can't see a label. Oh, here we are. That's rowan again. Slightly different, so it must have been a different dye lot. They're both rowan berry. Oh no, that says hawthorn. So that must have been a different dye lot. Because this one's alpaca, lamb's wool, angora, so that's different again. And then there's another one with no label. Oh, another hawthorn. I thought I had two of those. Got two of those. A pair of socks maybe. And then there's another one with no label. What's this one? Ooh, this is a nice colour. Look at that one. That's a lovely colour. Battery dyed. Right, we're still in Shills Adair. I got a lot of these when they closed the shop down in Waternish. So a lot of these have come from the sale that she had when she closed. But I got some sample skeins and a full skein of sock yarn. And this one is 80% wool, 20% nylon. So that's definitely a sock yarn. And that is cochineal, dyed in cochineal, again with the old labels on before Kirsty had it. This one is also a sock yarn. I've been wanting to make socks as well, and that's also cochineal. And then this is also a sock yarn, and this one is dyed with heather, sky heather, and then over dyed with indigo, so that's a nice green. You can't really see it in the light. Heather dyed with indigo, so that's nice. Right, what else have we got in here? Oh, this is what I used to knit my sweater that I've got on here. This one. This is my ranunculus. So I didn't know I had a ball of that left. Not sure whose that is. But that's a nice colour. That's silk. This is Louisa Harding. That's silk. And I think I bought these when I went to a wool show with my mum back in, oh gosh, early noughties, probably about 2005, 2006. So that's these. And this one, I've just found the perfect project for this one. This is St Kilda. It's called St Kilda and it's Blacker Yarns. And it's a beautiful, beautiful brown colour. It's a limited edition yarn. And it's a lace weight and it's pure new wool, 700 metres on each skein. So I've got 1,400 metres of that. Now I want to knit that into a shawl. I found the perfect pattern on Ravelry. And even though it's a lace weight, I'm going to knit it on a bigger needle. The colour is called Stack Lee. And it's a beautiful wool, and there's like 700 metres in 50 grams, so I got it in their sale a couple of years ago, but I think full price it's about £17 a skein. So definitely, if you can find it, get hold of that. So I want to keep that handy for my shawl that I'm going to do. Then these are, that's mohair. Yes, that's mohair. It still smells goaty. It's one of the first things I ever hand spun, that is, when I came to Wales. Somebody gave me some mohair. That's something I bought at Wonderwool. And that's dyed with Queen Anne's lace. And then that looks like Welsh Mountain, that one. This is Handspun. Falklands. It's a Falklands yarn. And then this one is Wensleydale Merino and BFL. Spun and dyed, naturally dyed by the looks of it. So those three would be nice together. Like that. Ooh, what could I make with that? Nice shawl or something. So that's that shelf. And now we're up to the exciting bit of my hand spun. So that's a yarn I did a few years ago that I was thinking of putting in a kit. This has already been in a kit. This is nice. This is Cormo. Lovely yarn. This is Hilltop Katie. Hilltop. I always call it Hilltop Katie. Hilltop Cloud. So that's that. Got another one of them. This one. That's a lovely yarn. I love that. Got a couple of those, I think. Did have anyway. But yeah, there's some more of that I did my hat in. This I've got for plying. So I was going to use my Christmas wreaths. So that's that. I'll leave that out as well. This is goat mohair. That again I got at a fair. There we go. This is a dyed yarn that I've done. I just threw it in the pan to see what came out. I was quite pleased with the results. This one, not sure what that one is. That one was dandelion, which is nice yellow. That one's daffodil. That's my favourite one to dye with. I put citric acid in with these and it made them more vibrant. That one is red onion. Again, citric acid. And I think that one was elderflowers. The elderflower bush with the elderberries on. So it's more of a greeny colour, that one. I think that was the leaves. That was a hand spun. That was my first ever coil spun yarn. That one. And then these I bought again at Wonderwool, I think. Hand dyed boucle. That one. And then this one is a mohair, 70% wool hair, mohair, 30% wool. I intended on weaving a scarf with that. So that's another boucle. They're not mine. Right, what have we got in here? This is the top shelf now. This is the hand spun. So that was an art yarn that I did. I think I did that last year. It's that one. I'm thinking of putting that in one of my kits. That's a coil spun yarn that I did. I love this one. This is my favourite. I'm waiting for the right project for this one. Oh, there's some more natural dyes here. These are fun. That one was an orange onion, mistakenly put in with citric acid. These ones, incidentally, are in my very first video that I did with natural dyes. The very first video I ever put up on YouTube. So if you go all the way back in my catalogue, you'll find the video that I did about these. But this was orange onion skin. That was woad. And that was ivy berries. The black ones. And that was red onion, that one. And they were a mistake. I put citric acid in the pot with them by mistake. And yeah. Oh, I like this one. Look at this one. Got some lovely little locks in it there. And then some lovely colours. So I'm waiting for the right project for that one. Got this one, which is another coil spun that I've done. That one. Got some lovely rich colours in that one. Lots of little bumps. So I'm looking for the right project for these. This one is Dandelion. That's Portland yarn. That one's Cochineal. This is one of mine. Nice oranges and things like that. And this one. These have been in kits, that's why they're in balls and not skeins, because I've done these into weaving kits. Oh, I like this one as well. This has got some funky stuff going on with some different locks and some funky colours, which I don't know what to do with them. And these are all different locks. And that's why I decided to make that jumper that I made out my Handspun, because I didn't know what to do with the yarn, and I think that's a common problem. I mean, look at these two. Look at that. It's gorgeous. So they just sit in my cupboard. And there's another one, look at that. You can tell there's a theme here. I like pink. But yeah, I just never know what to do with them. That was a dyed yarn that I did. I just threw it in a pan. Some colours to see what came out. That's alpaca, done quite funky with some sparkle. And then we're on the last ones now. I like this one. That was a fractal yarn that I did. Yeah, it took me ages to master that. We used to watch a girl called Grace Shalom Hopkins. I don't know if she's still around on YouTube. But she had a baby and then she disappeared off YouTube. But yeah, I learnt to do this technique, fractal spinning, from that. And I've got 2 skeins of that. And I'm thinking of maybe trying to do another jumper or a tank top with it, with a different colour base. I think that would be really nice with that. So that just lives in the cupboard with everything else. That one is the same colours as that one, but that one's just been plied with white and that one's been plied with brown. So yeah, the brown is alpaca and the white is Welsh Mountain. So yeah, you can get 2 different wools but out of the same bobbin. So that was quite interesting. I just wanted to see how that would turn out. So I think that's pretty much it really. I just thought you might be interested in having a look through my yarn cupboard. And we'll do a stash dive in another cupboard another day, because I think that's quite a lot in one video. I didn't realise there was so much in that cupboard. It's all over the floor now. So a couple more in here. There's this nice blue one, which has got some blocks in as well, which will make a nice woven project. So that's that. I'm not too keen on these darker colours, but it must have just been a phase I was going through and I wanted to try. So yeah, I'm not too keen on the jewelled colours. That was another weird phase I went through. And then these are the last 2. I really like this one and I've kept it because I don't know what to do with it. Really funky with all the locks. That's that one. And then again another 80s style. This is quite nice. I think this Welsh Mountain. And then it's been plied with pink cotton, I think. So yeah, that's my yarn cupboard. I'm now going to move it upstairs. And then we will see what we can make with the yarn that's there, because I do think it all needs to be made into something. I mean, that one and that one go nice together, like that. Or that one with the fractal would be quite nice, those 2. So yeah, I mean, I really like this one and there's quite a bit on there. So yeah, I need to have a sort out and decide what I'm going to do with them. I've got plenty of yarn in other places in the house as well, and in the garage. It's under the bed, under the stairs, in the sitting room, in the garage. It's everywhere. Oh, in the shed at the bottom of the garden. So yeah, hence my no spend year. I don't think I need to buy any. I think I've got plenty. So yeah, I think that's it for now. going to go and take all this lot upstairs. So if you've enjoyed my video, please do like and subscribe, and please do hit the thumbs up button, and that will help YouTube to promote my video. And yeah, if you enjoy my content, then hit the notification bell, and that'll tell you when I upload new videos to YouTube, when they go live on my channel. And I'm going to take this lot back upstairs now. So I hope you've enjoyed a rummage through my yarn cupboard. The more I'm looking at this basket, you know, the more I'm just loving the yarn that's here. This one's lovely. So incidentally, the series that I'm doing with the drum carder and the bats that I was showing you in my vlogs in Vlogtober, I'll pop a link up here for you of the videos that I did. The series that I'm doing is going to be, I'm going to spin one of these with all this sparkly stuff in, and I'm going to spin a better version of, if I can find it, this one. This is just a bit that's left, these bumps, and this is just done in a thick and thin coil spun. So I'm going to do those two techniques together, and then I'm going to weave a shawl with it on my triangle loom, and I'm going to film all the way through the whole process. It's only going to be short videos, about 15-20 minutes long, she says, but I'm showing you how to make rolags, how to make bats, and how to take it off with a diz, and then I'm going to spin it and show you the finished yarn, and then I'm going to show you it being put onto the triangle loom and show you the finished shawl at the end of it. So that'll be nice. So yeah, that's coming up in February. So I hope you've enjoyed a look through my stash. As I say, please do like and subscribe. Please do hit the notification bell and hit the thumbs up, and I can start growing my YouTube channel. So yeah, thanks very much for joining me today on my midweek vlog and my waffle. And I will see you on Sunday for another knitting podcast. So enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you on Sunday. So bye for now. Bye bye.